of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, always an honor and a pleasure to bring on our friend Tony D. He's going to make me focus. I wasn't focused in my opening break, Tony, so now with you here, I'm going to focus like a laser beam. And
well, what did Groucho Marx say, Lee? It's never go into a club that would have me as a member.
Exactly right. I don't want to belong to any club that would have me as a member. That's 100%
Proud to
right.
be among you guys.
All right, so you want to start with the Teflon? Not the Teflon, Don. You want to start with the president?
Finish up a little bit with Donald Trump, you know, and I love cranks. They come out of the woodwork. We were talking about that before I came on, and, you know, good morning to all. And, you know, what people thought was a defense of mine of Donald Trump, and you know where I sit on Donald Trump. I think he's revolutionary in many ways, good and bad. But it was like, well, you know, what about this guy with $70,000 haircuts? I said, well, wait a minute. You know, we live in this era of cancel culture, and we don't, you know, we're going to take Judge Landis off of the MVP award and all this other stuff. Did you ever hear of Lucille Ball? Yeah, I heard of Lucille Ball. Okay, great. Do you realize that Lucille Ball had a particular type of hair coloring? Now, a lot of money goes into television production and theater production, you know, because I have a client that does this. I mean, it's staggering. Trump made millions doing The Apprentice. NBC made more millions. But Lucille Ball had a particular type of hair coloring that was called Egyptian henna, and they didn't think, you know, they kind of gave it to her like in the 1930s thinking, oh, this will be kind of a novelty, but they didn't realize that she was going to stay around for 50 more years. So they would actually have to fly to Egypt and keep buying this hair color because it was a part of her personality. It's business, kids. Get over it. So anyway, talking about Trump, it just kind of dawned on me that, you know, for everything this man takes, we have a governor who's really taken new dimensions to, quote-unquote, being the Teflon man. They used to say that Reagan was the Teflon man. I mean, this guy's got him beat by a mile. About 10 days ago, a story came out where there was this is a Hartford Courant story, a $4 million contract was handed out, no bid, to handle back unemployment claims. You know, yeah, you might ask yourself, you know, the well-paid state bureaucratic workforce can't do this, but we're bringing in other people. There are two companies that came in. One was called Protaviti, and the other one is Maximus. Now, really, anybody seeing this right now, a light should go on. Why these two companies? You know, why no bid? It's like, well, hey, it's all right. You know, Ned's on the job. He's doing what he needs to do to protect us all from harm, right? Well, you know, Protaviti is actually part of that Traxon capital pool where they seek investors. SEMA4 was in there and that sort of thing. Same players, same money. So, you know, turn on the spigot, here comes the state cash. And this Maximus is a processing company. Now, they're funded by Acrolis. Remember Acrolis? Acrolis has a huge investment from Oak HCFT. And, you know, Maximus had huge ID issues. Now, of course, they're all screaming about that now. D'Angelo's screaming about the Boston Consulting contract. Nobody other than, you know, you or I might say boo to that. But that's only for starters. So I'm just like, you know, hey, people, if you're going to campaign against something, I mean, doesn't any of this matter? Guess not. Your ball.
Why do you think the governor flies under the radar? Like, why do you think nobody? Is it because we're in this crazy hectic time of COVID?
It's a large part of that, and he is a very good deflector. He knows, like the other day I was watching the football game. It was the Tampa Bay game, and Tom Brady was playing quarterback. Yeah, maybe he's not quite what he was, but he's got the instincts. And he knows how to fluctuate in the pocket, still has the skills. Ned is a master at doing that. You know, he'll run behind the first thing, the first conflict he sees that doesn't involve him. He's right out in front of it, but yet he is a master deflector, and I'm getting tired of it.
All right, so are the people then we're just oblivious, only folks like you, or, you know, digging up the truth and everybody else is, you know, sitting around like the emperor has no clothes on kind of situation? I mean, is anybody else out there doing the things you're doing?
Yeah, there's some really great people. You know, my friend, the economist Bob Swick, does some wonderful work. Don Pesci, whom I read, and there's a young lady, Victoria Eloise, who's on social media, who does fantastic work, and she's unbelievable. But outside of quote unquote renegade type people, from quote unquote what the mainstream is, I know of none.
Well, it's amazing to me because whenever you're on, or not every single time, but most of the time, the topics that you bring up will give me, I'll get a number of social media requests for that audio. You got to send me that audio. You got to give me that audio because I want to listen to it again, or I want to hear it again. Because I think you're digging up things that, first of all, nobody else is even talking about, right? So it's like completely flying under the radar. So without question, you're doing a service for everybody because you're shining light on stuff. But, and let's just back up. So you mentioned another no-bid contract. So is this something that this administration is regularly doing?
Well, yeah, with a lot of regularity. If you go down the line, we've talked with a lot of that. Yes, they are. I mean, it's pretty much anything kind of runs, somewhere into the Emergency Powers Act. He's, with doing this for the state, he's always, again, he's a master of the pocket. He runs it right to where it needs to be.
Again, we're talking to our very good pal, Tony D, and we got a chance to start talking to him a few months back. It's probably getting close to about a year, and we appreciate him coming on each and every Tuesday to breaking some of this stuff down. All right, so did you want to talk a little bit more about the governor, or do you want to move to the president?
Well, actually, let's move to the governor for a little bit. Something else came out, and this is Victoria's hard work. Semaphore, and this was in Business Wire. Again, this is stuff that just, anybody can get their hands on. They have a collaboration with a company known as Janssen Research and Development, and Semaphore is now going to get involved in oncology trials. And you can let your mind just run wild in this, because it's sort of like, if you've ever had cancer, if you've dealt with somebody who's had cancer, the mind game that it plays. And now we have, quote unquote, the governor's family, who is somewhat going to be involved in cancer diagnosis. And, is this something that could be used to his advantage? Now, that's far-fetched, okay, but it's just like, is there any sort of a firewall there preventing that? I mean, when is somebody going to demand this guy give an accounting? This boggles what little bit of a brain I've got left.
And this is not the first time you've circled, different companies or different actions by this governor. I mean, you're the governor of the state. Is that not enough? There's got to be business dealings on the side that you are constantly involved with, or at least you or your wife are constantly involved with. It seems like... Well,
and the thing is, if you've got the best thing since sliced bread, break it, but, bake it and break it. But it's sort of like, you're not supposed to have your hands in the pie. Like years back, I used to, oversee blind trust for people. This is actually the Bush administration, and where they had more or less handed over everything that they had to quote unquote independent people, so that they couldn't profit directly from their dealings. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And it's just like here, so what? The utility, we're all going to yell and scream at the utility. Well, are we going to yell and scream about the PAC money you guys are getting? No, of course not. But it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's me losing my mind.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, so what do we know about this oncology situation? I mean...
well, you can go to Business Wire, and I have this document if anybody wants it, and this was about 6 days ago. It is a company with an affiliation to Johnson & Johnson, and the idea is to bring in genomics into testing and to sell this in the hospitals. Now, does this, like the hospitals in Connecticut who get in trouble with cash, it's sort of like, you better use our testing or you're going to use no testing? Does that compromise patient integrity? I had this discussion with Kathy, and she said, that's unbelievable. That shouldn't be. That's unethical. I said, yeah, but like, when the king is dealing in this stuff, it's like, who will actually stop that, or what will actually stop that? The fundamental thing is, if this is the Brinks job, it may or may not be. The possibility exists. It shouldn't.
Okay. Hey, I want to throw you a complete curveball. I just want to ask you a question because we had a couple of people talking about this yesterday, and this is down your alley, certainly not mine. Where and I know you don't give advice on the stock market. You don't really go down that road, but you would have to think that if Biden becomes president, folks certainly would sort of grab hold of their money and stack it away into their mattresses or go out. Because I know a guy who went out and bought a whole bunch of gold and silver yesterday because he's fearful that Biden is going to win and then the economy will somewhat collapse, in particular the stock market. What do you think about some of that stuff?
Well, there's an inside out to that. Yes, that is a concern, and people will pull in the reins, at least as far as I'm seeing, as far as actually going out and investing and putting capital at risk. The banks who are stressed anyway with property are going to be, less likely to lend in that sort of thing. But the other thing, and actually this is Charlie Gasparino on Fox who was saying it, is that the markets are just searching for stability. And if the government is spending, there'll be capital and things will recover because markets always seem to find their way. I mean, personally, if it's going to make somebody nervous, I would see that. I do exercise caution.
All right. How about this Yankees? You watching the Yankees last night?
I'm still fuming over the Landis Award. I really am. I will get back to baseball, but a large part of baseball is history.
Yeah,
if we're going to cancel history, it's like you're canceling baseball. I don't know. I'm just an old stick in the mud.
All right, brother. Listen, enjoy the week. I thank you as always. I can't thank you enough for what you do.
Thank you.
All right.
To everyone.
All right, pal. Have a good one. There he is.